So, guys, this is the chapter that we are starting with today, the new chapter. This is our second last chapter. After this, we are done. We are left with only one chapter, that is a cash flow statement, right? Comparative and common sense also we have not done here. We have done. We have done, right? So we are left with only two chapters: dissolution of partnership firms and cash flow statement. Today, I am starting with dissolution of partnership firms. So, guys, dissolution of partnership firms means dissolving the firm, a partnership firm fully, that is closing down its business fully, right? So when business of a partnership firm is closed down fully, it is called dissolution of partnership firms, right? Now, guys, on the other hand, we have one more term that is known as dissolution of partnership. This is dissolution of partnership firms, but we have one more term that is dissolution of partnership, which means dissolving an old partnership among the partners, right? That is changing the terms and conditions of partnership deed and coming up with a new one. So when there is change in partnership deed at all, even a single change, that is called dissolution of existing partnership and reconstitution of new partnership. It means admission, retirement, death, and change in PSR among partners. They all are examples of dissolution of partnership because in all those cases, partnership deed changes. I hope guys you all have understood this, right or not? The difference between dissolution of partnership firms and dissolution of partnership. Note down this much, guys, everyone. Now, guys, dissolution of a partnership is done for many. reasons. Means there may be many reasons for dissolution of a partnership firm, right? Like when there is disagreement among all the partners, that there are frequent quarrels among all the partners, they want to get apart, and this is how they dissolve the firm, right? Or when there is death of all the partners except one. So now that partnership firm automatically will become a proprietorship business because all other partners except one have died. Or when there is insolvency of all the partners except one. Have you got this, Shraddha? Or when government says that now your business, what's your business you are doing in partnership, that has become illegal in the state or in the country. So suppose your business is banned by the government, then automatically you have to close down your business. For example, in Gujarat and Bihar, as of now, liquor cannot be distributed, cannot be sold. Right. Similarly, in Madhya Pradesh also, when government says that from tomorrow liquor business is banned, then all those who are into liquor business, they have to dissolve their business. Right, Mishika? I hope you are with us. Have you got this, Shraddha? Shraddha, I'm asking you, have you
Yes, sure.
understood? Now, guys, next title is accounting for dissolution of a partnership firm. But first, you note down this and then we go ahead. Now, guys, not only a partnership business, but whenever any business, be it a proprietorship, partnership, or a company, is dissolved, that is, the business is shut down completely. What is done is that all the assets of the business are sold in the market. The assets which can be sold in the market, and they are called realizable assets. So they are sold in the market. With the proceeds, all the external liabilities are paid first. After that, if money is still available, then partner's loan is repaid. In case any partner has given a loan to the firm, then that is repaid. After what? After repaying all the external liabilities. And after that, if still any money is left, then that is paid back to partners for their capitals. So this is the sequence how we make the payments out of the proceeds from proceeds of our realizable assets. Am I clear? This is one thing about dissolution of a partnership firm, which we will see in accounting. Second thing, guys, since you know that the firm is getting closed fully, balances of all the items in books of accounts, that is all assets and liabilities in books of accounts, should become zero. And that is what we do exactly in accounting for dissolution of a partnership firm. Have you understood? So at the end, when everything is done, there won't be any balance left in any account and ledger of the firm. Every balance will become zero, whether it is assets or liabilities or partners' capital or anything else. I hope you all have understood this, right? Shraddha, you also, right?
Yes, sir.
Note down this, guys, all. So, guys, when a business is dissolved, whether it is a partnership or a proprietorship or a company, no balance should remain left in any of its accounts in its ledger, be it an account of asset or liability or capital. So, in the whole accounting for dissolution of a partnership firm, we do these two things, guys. What we do? We sell all our assets, all realizable assets, and with the proceeds we pay to external liabilities, then partners' loan if a partner has given a loan to the firm, and then partners' capitals. And while doing so, we should also ensure that no asset, liability, or capital should have any balance left. Am I clear? You know that accounting for anything starts or begins with journal entries. And that is what I'm explaining you guys now. Shraddha, you have noted down this, right? Shraddha, I'm asking you, have you noted down this?
Yes, sir.
Guys, these journal entries are in steps. That is, they are in sequence. Once you understand the steps and the journal entries, this chapter would be over. Though we will do many questions here, right? We will also make ledger accounts. But for you to understand, steps and entries are very important. Do not write anything, guys. Let me first write one entry. Once I ask you to note down, then only note down this. Now, guys, in the very first entry or in the beginning of process of accounting for dissolution firm, what we do is that we transfer all our realizable assets to a particular account, a newly opened account that is called a realization account. Why we make realization account, I will explain you later, guys. Once I'm done with journal entries, right? So for transfer of all realizable assets to realization account, the entry that we pass is, we know that assets always have debit balance in books. So to transfer them, we need to credit them, and that is what we will do here by debiting realization account, right? As I said, do not write guys anything. Realizable assets are those assets which can be sold in market. Whether they really get sold in the market or not, that is irrelevant here. Whether they really get sold in the market or not, that is irrelevant here. That is whether they really get something, whether they really fetch something from the market, that is not relevant here. What is relevant here is whether that can be sold in the market or not. Is it saleable or not? Those are realizable assets. So what we do not need to sell in the market are cash and bank balances. They are already in form of money. So we do not need to sell them. Now, what cannot be sold in the market or the assets for which no takers would be there in the market are our fictitious assets. And they include debit balance of P&L account and deferred revenue expenditure. That is advertisement expenditure or research and development expenditure or heavy repairs or some other examples of deferred revenue expenditure, which also reflect in balance sheet of a business and asset side. Since there won't be any takers of these assets because they are fictitious, that is why they are not realizable assets. Am I clear? I will write a note immediately after this journal entry about this. Rest all the assets are realizable. Whether they actually fetch something for a partnership firm or not, that is irrelevant as far as this entry is concerned. So, what all assets will come here are land and building account, plant and machinery account, furniture account, patents account, goodwill account, When I write patent and goodwill, it means it includes all, this entry includes all intangible assets, right? Stock account, debtors account. Here we take debtors at gross without subtracting PFDD. Why? Because that is without subtracting provision for doubtful debts. Because in our ledger, debtors reflect with their actual values. So we have separate debtors account and we have separate provision for doubtful debts account. Since provisions are made for debtors, that is why in balance sheet we present them together. Am I clear? To prepaid expenses account if there is any, to accrued incomes account if there is any. If we have given any advance, any kind of advance to anyone, that advance will also come. So this is how we have taken all the realizable assets here. What we have not taken here are cash and bank balances and fictitious assets. Cash and bank balances do not need to be sold in the market, and fictitious assets will not have any takers in the market. Am I clear? We transfer these assets with their book values. So, what's your value of these assets are there in the books, which would be given in the question? With that, we transfer these assets, right? And realization account is debited with total of credit side. So, what's the total of the credit side? With that, we debit realization account. Am I clear? The narration for this is transferred all realizable assets to realization account. So, guys, now you can start noting down the things from here. This is our step one. Shraddha, you have to re-log in once the meeting gets over. Now, guys, after first step, we transfer all our external liabilities also to realization account. What? All external liabilities, including those provisions and reserves which have been made against any asset. And which are those provisions? We have provision for doubtful debts or bad debts, and one reserve, that is investment fluctuation reserve, which is made for investments. So these two items will also go to realization account along with external liabilities, because these two items also have credit balance. Liabilities create external liabilities have credit balance, but these two items, that is provision for doubtful debts and investment fluctuation reserve, they also have credit balance. That is why they are transferred to realization account with all external liabilities. Am I clear? So for transfer of all realizable liabilities, all external liabilities along with those provisions and reserves which have been made against assets to realization account, the entry that we pass is we debit all the liabilities. Why? Because they have trade balance. They have trade balance, and that is why we debit them. Similarly, provision and reserves also have trade balance. That is why we also debit them and credit realization account. Am I clear? With the first entry, guys, on the debit side of realization account, we have all these assets. So here, so guys, whether you have been given bank loan or bank overdraft or bank cash credit, they all will be transferred to realization account, right? If wife or brother or any relative of a partner has given any loan to the firm, such loan is also treated as external liability of the firm, right? Same way, guys, all these external liabilities, provisions, reserves which I have taken here will be transferred with their book values. Note down this also, guys, all. So, guys, with this entry, provision value of these external liabilities, provision reserve in books will also become zero because we have debited them. They had great balances, and since we have debited them with their book values, now their book balance has become zero. Am I clear? Now, guys, in step three, we start realizing these assets. Which assets? Realizable assets, right? Realization of realizable assets. Realization means वसूली करना. तो अब इन एसेट से हमको वसूली करनी है, right? Now here we have three sub steps. The first one is for disposal of assets. A business may have many assets, many realizable assets, as I have listed down here, right? It's not necessary that all the assets are sold. Some of the assets may be given to external liabilities against their claims. Some of the assets may be given to external liabilities against their claims. For example, firm decides and agrees with creditors that instead of paying them money, it's good to give them stock. And creditors agree to it. क्रेडिटर्स बोलते हैं कि हमें जो आपको पेमेंट देना है उसके बदले में आप हमको अपना स्टॉक दे दो और हम उसके लिए रेडी हो जाते हैं या फिर हम ये सेम ऑफर क्रेडिटर्स को देते हैं और वो एग्री हो जाते हैं. So some assets may be taken over by our external liabilities for their claims. Am I clear? Some assets may also be taken away by partners. Partner may say that please do not sell patent or furniture or plant and machinery or land and building, but give it to me. And what's your claim I have on the firm? Reduce that claim by the amount of asset that I'm taking away from the firm. मुझे जितना फर्म से लेना है कैपिटल का उसमें से इस एसेट का पैसा माइनस कर दो जो मैं लेके जा रहा हूँ फर्म से. इज इट क्लियर टू ऑल? सार तक समझ में आ रहा है ये पक्का? नहीं आया तो मैं फिर से समझा सकता हूँ. मिशिका आपको आया है समझ में? एंड दिस इज हाउ गाइस देयर may be three different steps for realization of realizable assets. One, for those assets which are actually disposed of in the market. One, for those assets which are given to external liabilities for their claims. And one, for those assets which are given to partners against their capital claim, against their claim of capital. Am I clear? So for disposal of assets, the entry is cash or bank account debit to realization account. Usually, when we sell an asset, any machinery, any plant, any building, any investment, we credit that asset account, right? But here we do not need to credit. Why? Because we do not have any debit balance of that asset. That asset has already become zero because of this entry. तो इसलिए अब हम उस एसेट को क्रेडिट अगर कर देंगे तो उसका क्रेडिट बैलेंस हो जाएगा हमारी बुक्स में उसको बेचते समय क्योंकि एसेट तो पहले ही जीरो हो चुकी है हमारी बुक्स में इस एंट्री से बिकॉज ऑफ फर्स्ट एंट्री and that is why while selling an asset in the market we do not credit that asset account but we credit realization account ये समझ में आया आप लोगों को guys? तो वो सारी एसेट्स जिसको मार्केट में बेचा गया है which have fetched some value in the market for that we pass only one single entry for all the collective amount that we have fetched from the market जितना पैसा एसेट्स को बेच के आया है सारी एसेट्स को बेच के राइट वो सारी जो मार्केट में बेची गई थी उसके लिए हम एक सिंगल एंट्री पास करते हैं कैश और बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट ये क्लियर है realized assets in cash. This is the narration for it. And this entry is passed with the realized value. Am I clear? जितना पैसा हमें मार्केट से मिला उससे हम ये एंट्री पास करेंगे Now, guys, those assets which have been given against claim of an external right. क्रेडिटर का हमारे ऊपर क्लेम है बिल्स पेबल का है बैंक लोन का है किसी पार्टनर की वाइफ या ब्रदर का लोन का हमारे ऊपर क्लेम है हमें उन सबको पैसा देना है अगर उनको हमने उनके पैसे के बदले में कोई एसेट दी है तो उसका ये स्टेप है इसके लिए हम कोई एंट्री पास नहीं करते गाइस नो एंट्री ये ध्यान रखिएगा राइट एंड थर्ड इज फॉर एसेट्स that taken away by a partner तो जो पार्टनर एसेट लेके गया है उसकी कैपिटल को अब हमें कम करना है क्योंकि हमें उसको उतना पैसा कम देना है क्योंकि एसेट लेके जा रहा है फर्म की और कैपिटल को कम करना मतलब कैपिटल को डेबिट करना वही हम यहाँ पे कर रहे हैं पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट डेबिट टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट क्योंकि हमको पार्टनर से कैश नहीं मिल रहा है हमने कैश लेने की बजाय उसकी कैपिटल के बैलेंस को कम कर दिया यहाँ पे हम पार्टनर का नाम लिखेंगे और यहाँ पे एसेट का नाम लिखेंगे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन्वेस्टमेंट्स टेकन अवे बाय ए इज अ पार्टनर this entry we pass with the agreed value of the asset taken away जिस वैल्यू पे पार्टनर उस एसेट को लेके जा रहा है उस एसेट की बुक वैल्यू नहीं स्टॉक 20,000 का है, पर पार्टनर कह रहा है मैं इसको 18,000 में लेने को तैयार हूँ या मैं स्टॉक को 22,000 में लेने को तैयार हूँ है कितने का बुक में वैल्यू स्टॉक की 20,000 तो जिस वैल्यू पे भी वो ले जा रहा है उस वैल्यू से हम एंट्री पास करेंगे which may be more than the book value may be lesser than the book value may be equal to the book value am I clear लिखिएगा ये आप लोगों ने लिख लिया था लिखिए इसको